1 year for surgical strike. How should India maintain regional stability in South Asia region? Do you think surgical strikes have disturbed regional security in South Asia? Do you think India's strategy of punishing Pakistan works? It is said that lack of stable leadership in bigger states like India has added to this difficulty of cooperation in South Asia. Justify the statement. Why India should be careful while playing a role of regional stabilizer in India. GS Paper 2, Bilateral, Regional and Global Groupings and Agreements Involving India and or Affecting India's Interests. What is the context about? It has been 1 year since the Special Forces of the Indian Army carried out surgical strikes to destroy terror launch pads in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir on September 29, 2016. A year after the surgical strikes across the line of control, India must recover its role as a regional stabilizer. It is important to take stock at this point on how India-Pakistan bilateral relations and the regional security situation have evolved over the past year since the strikes. Do you think surgical strikes have disturbed regional security in South Asia? From a regional stability point of view, the surgical strikes do not seem to have had much of an adverse impact. The fact that Pakistan neither acknowledged the attacks nor responded in kind shows that the general deterrence between the South Asian nuclear rivals remains intact. It is easy to talk about nuclear use and threaten nuclear retaliation, as Pakistan has been doing for long. It is, however, not easy to translate such talk into action. In that sense, the surgical strikes have called Pakistan's nuclear bluff. And that certainly is good news for regional stability. Do you think India's strategy of punishing Pakistan works? There are two reasons why the strategy of punishment may not have worked. For one, a strategy of punishment requires consistency and commitment. The momentum achieved by the surgical strikes was not followed up, despite several attacks thereafter, nor was the government committed to its declared determination to respond firmly to terror strikes, thereby lacking in both consistency and commitment. Second, and more importantly, Pakistan's responses thereafter of supporting insurgency in Kashmir, aiding infiltration across the border, and allegedly supporting attacks on the Indian Army convoys and bases, continued without much reaction from New Delhi. This has led to a visible lack of credibility on New Delhi's part, which makes one wonder whether, bereft of domestic political uses, there was any strategic planning behind the September operation. It is said that lack of stable leadership in bigger states like India has added to this difficulty of cooperation in South Asia. Justify the statement. Various reasons for this unstable leadership may be accounted to following conditions. Change in foreign policy. With each government which took over the power, there is slight or major change in foreign policy. For example, tie between India and USA was improving and was growing stronger during Obama's administration. Different policies of Modi government has indicated in the shift of foreign policies of India like Act East policy etc. Cross-border terrorism, it is one of the most important issue and is always the point of difference for terror-hit countries like India, Bangladesh, Afghanistan etc. India's policy has been changed over the time and now it openly points to Pakistan and held it responsible for cross-border terrorism. Border dispute. This is yet another issue, especially when it involves the two superpowers of the region, that is India and China. The border dispute between India and Pakistan is well known to the world. Why India should be careful while playing a role of regional stabilizer in India. With two hostile neighbors on either side, terror attacks against India on the rise, and the South Asian neighborhood unsure of India's leadership anymore, New Delhi has a lot to be concerned about the continuation of its pivotal position in the region and the nature of its future engagement with it. The events since September last year have further contributed to South Asia's regional insecurity complex. For a country that has traditionally been the regional stabilizer, New Delhi seems to be quickly embracing the virtues of geopolitical revisionism. The costs of aggression, self-imposed regional exclusion and an absence of strategic altruism are bound to become starker sooner or later.